So, hey there, is anybody out there? What's going on, tarot peeps? Happy full moon in Aries. Yeah, kind of a big one, I think. This full moon. I did a card pull for it, and I got the sun. So, if you're worried about anything, I wouldn't be worried because the sun card came up. And then I threw some astro dice, and I got Uranus, and I got Leo in the seventh house. So that's like everyone's been saying about this full moon. It's all about relationships. It's all about contracts. So you got to be you in relationship. That's what I would say about this full moon. So if you're not being you, then you need to be you. And if you're not allowed to be you in this relationship or this contract, then you might want to take a look at that. You might want to think about that, because Uranus wants to bust you out into who you're supposed to be. So that's that. I was just saying something while I'm waiting for it to turn to 3:30 and people to show up. I think there's one person here. I think the other person is me with my window open. So yeah, so what I'm going to talk about today is making your own tarot deck quickly. So the key here is quickly. So there are 78 cards in the tarot deck, so that's a lot. That's a lot of cards, so that could take a while. But in 2013, I made a card a day, and then I released them to the Creative Commons. They are on my website. I'm going to bring that up later. But you can do it quickly. It just depends what you want to do. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that would look like if you made a tarot deck quickly and how you could do that. So that's what we're doing. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat. I guess I will go ahead and start the presentation. Let me do that. Let me move this window over here. So many windows when you do live streaming, so many windows. All right, so make a deck quick. Let's get that up. Okay, so we need to share screen. Here we go. And I'm so happy that I have good Wi-Fi in this house, good internet in this house, because my last house, I stopped doing live streams because the internet was so bad. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. It would freeze all the time. So this is much better here. So yes, so here we are. You should be able to hopefully see the slides now. Make a deck quick. Here we go. But I'll try not to go back quick through the slides. I'll try to slow down. Okay, so if you don't know who I am Cassandra, the card reader. As I mentioned, I made my own deck in 2013. Here's a couple examples. I did it in Canva, but that's not the only way that you could do a deck. There's lots of different ways. And I did it basically because I was frustrated at that time. US Games was still claiming copyright to the Rider-Waite deck, which is ridiculous because it's well out of the timeline to be under copyright anymore, but they were still fighting for it. They lost. So that's mean. I shouldn't say that, but no, I was not for that. Not only that, but they were policing the internet. And if they had saw anybody like using any of their decks, like that you had to sign like a quote unquote permission slip to use their images, which is just dumb, because how many decks have you bought because you saw somebody else? They posted them, they had them in a video. That's like the best advertising in the world for any deck, is to have somebody like use it and post it and go, yeah, here's my reading. And then you go, oh, what's that deck? I want it. So that's just a little background on how I made my own tarot deck. So I did a card a day. And so that, however many days that took, like, because it was like more than 78, because there was the back, you have to do a card back. But that deck is available on my website if you want to use it, because I released it to the Creative Commons so other people who needed tarot card images could use them. So there we go. Yes, so there, that's the link. I can click on that later and show you, or maybe I can do it now. But then I have to let me minimize. It should be right here. Okay, yeah, here is this is my site. So if you go to free stuff, free tarot card download, and there you go. You can sign up. You can download them. You can print them. You can use them on your website. You just can't sell them. That's the only thing you can't do. And that's because some of the images I used were Creative Commons images that were not for commercial use. So that's why. So that's that. So let's go back to the presentation here. Okay. All right. Tarot deck. Okay. So if you're going to make a tarot deck quickly, and am I sharing? I am sharing. Okay, but that's weird because I see, it says I'm screen sharing, but I see myself. I don't know. Whatever. I think I am screen sharing. So for mediums, if you're going to choose a fast medium, obviously any kind of electronic medium like Canva, Photoshop, or I don't remember what that other thing is that a lot of artists use. That is Procreate, something like that. Obviously, you could do something really fast that way, but that doesn't mean that's the only way. You can also hand draw with pen and ink or colored pencils. Like this is an example of the Wild Unknown here. So that's just pen and ink there, you know. So if you have any kind of drawing skills or whatever, you can do that. You could knock it out quite quickly. Think zines. Now I know I'm dating myself by using that word because those were a big thing in the 80s, and those are basically, they were like Xeroxed magazines that people would distribute, because this, you have to remember, this is pre-internet. So we would all get these zines. So maybe a little bit of a comic book feel, but yeah, it's kind of like this black and white Xerox. What can you do really fast? You can also do a deck really quickly and have it just be like your first draft. Like just get the fact that you made it through all the cards, you know, and did it, then you can try some different ideas out. That might be an option too, instead of like trying to paint over like, oh, I want it this way, I want it exactly that way, and then you're not really sure. Just do a draft. And that would be a fast deck. And that doesn't mean that you can't use it and that it's not useful or anything like that. Just, you know, that's a suggestion as well. Just make a draft deck. So just think about if you're, you know, you're like, okay, if I needed to make 100 copies of this deck in 30 days, how would I do it? And just think about it. So, but if it's just going to be one deck and you're just going to use it, then you don't need to worry about the reproduction part of it. But I'm just saying, like, if you're going to like, oh, I need to whip out 100 decks, how would I do it? Just think about that for a minute, see what you come up with. Okay, so some numbers to consider with tarot. There's 78 cards in a tarot deck. So there's 22 major arcana cards, 56 minor arcana cards, which is the numbered cards plus the court cards. So there's 16 court cards, 40 quote unquote pip cards or numbered cards. That makes 56 cards. And yeah, that's the 22 major arcana, and you get 78 cards in a tarot deck. So that's a serious number of cards. So like if that's too much for you, maybe you want to do an oracle deck. Maybe you want to do a Lenormand deck. Lenormand's 36, but I'm just saying, I'm just warning you, 78 cards. So it's a little daunting. An easy way to make the pipped cards or the numbered cards is to just represent the suit by a specific number of whatever it is that the suit is. So for example, in playing cards, we have the diamond suit, right? And so the 10 of diamonds has 10 diamonds on the card. That's what the card is. The 8 of diamonds has 8 diamonds. The 2 of spades has 2 spades. That's how playing cards work. Also, some of the older tarot decks, like the Marcel or the Marseille, whatever that's called, that's what this second one is here, have, this is the Four of Wands. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 wands here. So that is, you know, it is what it is. There's 40, that's your biggest bulk of what you need to make with a tarot deck, is the pip cards or the numbered cards. So that is one way to make that part go faster, is to just go, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to represent swords. This is how I'm going to represent cups. And each card has however many of those that it needs on each one. So I've got some examples. So once again, this is the Marcel or Marseille, whatever it is. This is an ace. And I think we're used to seeing embellished aces because you see those in playing cards also. This is a 2, that's an ace, that's a 2. And if you look up like playing cards online, there are lots of really fancy playing cards that have very embellished cards. Now, obviously, if you take this much time to to create an embellished numbered card, then that's not saving you time. So I'm not saying go to this extreme, but I'm just showing you examples just so you can start thinking that way. Here's more. See, we've got 9 cups here. We've got 2 pentacles. We've got, is this 9, 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah, it's 9. There's a 9 of pentacles here. Just ideas, just ideas. So that is that. Here's another example. This is a jack. Very abstract. Like, there's so much you can do. That's probably, I guess, is really the hardest part, is because there's so much you can do. Is like to just decide what it is you do want to do. That's the hard part. And then I wanted to show you this. I have this pack of dogs playing cards because I just couldn't help myself. I had to buy them because they're so cute. They put the dogs into the numbered cards. And so once again, that's not going to save you time to do that. Excuse me, but that, I mean, that's just something to think about, something to think about. So let me take a break here and see if there's any questions or anything. Stop sharing. Okay, stop and share. Okay. So are there any, does anyone have any questions so far? Does anyone have any ideas they want to throw out there about making a tarot deck? No, 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 no. Okay, all right, let me go on here. Okay, back to the screen share. Okay, so all right. So here's some ideas and some tips once again about making your own tarot deck. Like especially if you're going to make a deck that's just for your own use, you can use 3x5 or 4x6 index cards easily. I mean, that's like super easy. And so that's why I'm saying it's like you have this kind of draft mentality while you're doing it. It's like if you make one you don't like, you just throw it away and you get another card. It doesn't have to be so, you know, so precious and so whatever. So I have did I stop? I did. I think I did stop the share. I have this is a 4x6 pad. So that's 4x6. That's a good size, you know, but especially if you're like hand drawing something, you may want it that big, because 3x5 might be a little small, but if you can work smaller, then fine, do 3x5. I wouldn't do anything smaller. I wouldn't do anything like business card size. I don't have a business card in front of me to show you, but this is 4x6, just FYI, that's 4x6. Okay, so let me go back to sharing. Share screen, share, okay. All right, when you make your own set, you could leave space for keywords or for notes. So like if you're learning tarot, you could just leave space for keywords or notes on there. That would be a handy thing. That would be a cool thing to do. You could add additional cards. If you have some thoughts about whatever, like this concept needs to be in a tarot deck, you can add additional cards. You can also put yourself or anybody you know into the tarot deck. So this example I have on this slide here is that's the 9 of Earth from the Gaian Tarot. So the author of the deck, Joanna Powell Colbert, put herself in there. So that's her. She's on the 9 of Earth. So there's lots of things you can do, lots of things. I just want to point out that size matters when you're making these cards. Like I was pointing out, like that 4x6, I'm like, if you're actually drawing or something like that, you might need that much space. And if you're doing something electronically, please note that on screen and in print are two different things, and what size you're going to print them at. So some decks are just really, they put too much detail in there because they're looking at a screen and they can see it. But when you're actually using the cards, it either makes it difficult or there's just stuff that you just don't even see that's on the card. So keep that in mind. So I said make sure details are still visible when reduced. So now we can talk about court cards. So there's 4 suits and 4 royals. So there's King, Queen, Knight, and Page of each suit, which is cups, wands, swords, and pentacles. So that's 16 cards together. I think you can have the most fun with the court cards, really. And the court cards are what really trip people up, I think, a lot the most when they're learning tarot, because they really can't figure out like what they're about and what they're trying to say. And it's just because a lot of the court cards in some decks, not all decks, but in some decks are like, they're very stiff and you don't know what they're about or what's going on with them. So you make your own deck. You can make them whatever you want. You can make them very approachable. For court cards, you can put your family members in there. You can put your boss and your coworkers in there. You can put your friends. You can put the mayor of your town. You can be very, very pop art or whatever about it. Like I don't know how to go back. Oh, here we go back. So this is my deck once again. So this is Hillary Clinton. I did this in 2013. This is before she ran for president or anything like that, but I put her in there. This is I believe this is a Banksy here, with Einstein. So it's like you can really just really go nuts with the court cards. Yeah, so it's like I said, you can use pop culture. You might want to think about color palette for each suit. Like you can have a different color palette for each suit. So like when I was showing you my card a while back, it's like the cups had like this yellow and pink and the swords were like blue and white. That was my color palette. You might want to ask like what kind of qualities you want these cards to portray for, these court cards. Like what kind of qualities do you want the kings to portray and the queens and each of the elements or each of the suits. So, and you can, there's so much online. You can look at decks and decks and decks and decks and get more ideas. So that shouldn't be difficult. So this is the Tarot Illuminati. So this is one of the ones that I think, in my opinion, I think it's a little overdone. It was done electronically, and when you're actually have these cards laid out on a table and stuff, you miss so much of what's in there because they crammed too much in each card. That's my personal opinion. Don't shoot me. I do like the deck. I do like it, but I'm just saying I think it's a little much at times. Okay. So the major arcana. An easy way to get through those, and there's 22, is to rework the existing majors, and by that I mean the Rider-Waite images. That's what I mean, because let me show you something. Share. Oh, well, I shouldn't have stopped the share, but never mind. Close this. I'm trying to close why can't I close it? Oh, here we go. All right, let me share a screen again. Sorry about that. Okay, so I think yeah. Okay, so if you Google the pictorial key to the tarot, you will find this site at sacredtext.com. And so it has the original book by, she says illustrations by Pamela Coleman Smith, and the book is by Arthur Waite, I believe. So you can read the book and what he says about each of the cards, but also what you can do is you can click on any of the cards. It will take you there, and then if you'll see a black and white image, but if you go to click to enlarge, there's the image. So that these are the Pamela Coleman Smith illustrations that are no longer under copyright, and you can use them. So you could download this and you could rework it however you wanted to. So that could be, a quick way for you to get through your 22 majors. So let me go back to my presentation. Okay. So yeah, so that's what I was saying. So like here, I took the background out of the hangman and I just put it, on a different background. Or here, this is the high priestess, and it's like I made it black and white, and then there's, you can do that thing where you just have like one color, you add one color to it. Those are just two quick ideas that you can do with the majors. Okay. And also when you're doing the majors, like I said, if you want to do it quickly, this is what we're talking about. This is like, I'm not telling you this is how to make a tarot deck. Like if you want to spend a lot of time studying and stuff, please do that. But if you're just looking to make a deck quick or get through it quick and just be like, oh, that was, or like I said, make a draft. Something you might want to consider when it comes to the majors is like, think about what are the minimal elements in each card that you could use to make a card. So this is Biddy Tarot here, this sun card. So yeah, it's it's the sun, the kid, the horse. That's it. Those are the elements of that card. That's what's on her card. This, I don't remember if there's some app where they have a tarot card. It might be from there, or this might be a stock photo. This is a stock photo because I said stock photo in Druid. But if you look up stock photos, you will find sets of tarot cards. And I'm not saying use those. I'm just saying look at how, because that's exactly what those are, is where they took the elements out of the card and go, okay, whoever the artist was is like, what's the elements of the judgment card? Oh, it's like a grave and a hand and a horn. This is like the horn of the angel. That's the judgment card to that person. The devil card. Okay, what's the devil card? It's the devil, and like this has weird ghosts that look like they're part of a video game, but whatever, that's their interpretation, because in the devil card, there's a man and a woman chained to the devil, but this person's interpretation was devil and two ghosts from a video game and a couple pentagrams, and like that's the devil card. So worth looking into, worth thinking about. So if you want to download the deck, I already showed you where to go at quickcardreading.com. This is more examples of my deck, so you can use those images. You just can't sell them. And then also, if you want to get on the wait list, I want to make a class about how to make your own tarot cards. Then you can go there. Let me get off it here. Stop screen sharing. Stop screen sharing. Yeah, so I want to make a class so you can get on the wait list for the class. And that is, did I save them? No, I didn't. I have to click it. Okay, let me click it. I'm trying to remember how I did it. Okay. Why doesn't it say open a new tab? Okay. All right, I got it. All right, let me screen share one more time. Okay, now, here we go. So if you go here, I'll put this in the chat. This is where you can go and you can sign up to get notified about the class. I also want to ask people about what specifically they're looking for. So like if someone had, there's nobody here, I'm just talking to the air right now. So if people were here and they could ask questions, that would help me know what you want to know about making your own deck. I know you want to do it. I do know that you want to do it. Yeah, I know people want to do it. I'm getting feedback that people want to do it. So if you watch this video later, put it in the comments. I'm going to put that link in the description. Like if you want to sign up to be notified about the class, or if you want to help me create the class, you can do that. So I'll be doing that. So just, yeah, so let me know. I'll probably make some more videos about creating a deck. I just thought I would do a live and see if anybody would come and, see what I had to say and give some feedback, but you didn't. So there you go. But yeah, I'll do one of these again soon, and we'll talk soon. And let me know what you want to know. What do you want to have live stream conversations about? What do you want to learn? What do you want to discuss? What do you want to chat? I think in the next one, I may do some quick readings for the eclipses coming up. But other than that, other than readings, me doing readings for you, what would you like to see on the live stream? You can put it in the comments. I would much appreciate that. So I will see you next time.